Hello, this is Ross from AI Unscripted Podcast, and today for our guest we have Binaya. Do I say that
Hi,
name correctly?
Binaya.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Mhm.
Binaya. So, yeah, I met him through Build Space season 5. However, I recently found out that he pivoted, so he's gonna share with us like what he's been up
Mhm.
to. So, tell us more about
Yeah,
that.
happy to be here. Rotsilva, Ross,
Rostislav.
Rostislav. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get
Well, you can call me Ross for
Ross.
now.
Sounds
That's
good.
gonna be much easier.
Yeah, happy to be here. I'm glad we're connected through Build Space. Build Space has been such an amazing platform, really, to like connect with people from all across the world, working on all kinds of different ideas. Um, so it's always exciting to learn about other people's work and be able to share what we're working on. So happy to be here. Thank you for setting up and putting this together. So um, yeah, let me share a little bit about like my build space journey and like learning about the steps to kind of work on your ideas and how you get traction and just my journey so far. Um, I learned about build space when it was actually third season, S3. That's the
Mm.
first time when I signed
Hmm.
up, but I did not complete it. So second week, third week down the program, I totally dropped out. I think it was the mental state at that time. I was not like prepared and my expectations for the program, it wasn't aligned, so I totally dropped out and didn't continue. But when season 4 came back, so I felt ready to like have at it again, and it was absolutely
Hmm.
amazing experience. What we're working on right now, it came entirely from fourth season of Build Space S4. The idea of Builders Academy, it's a Web3 and AI education platform. We bring AI Web3 curriculum to IT or non-IT students in undergrad level or recent graduates, and
Hmm.
we are expanding our efforts and collaboration in Nepal right now. So we've been
Yeah, I've seen it's not here. It's based in the foreign countries. It's more for like remote work,
yes,
correct?
remote work. So right now we have two pieces to our curriculum. It's in-person bootcamp, as well as we have one currently
Hmm.
running. It's online bootcamp. So we are expanding to have broader reach remotely, but we also have focused in-person efforts. So the idea of Build Space was. We were pretty much Build Space just in different parts of the world. How Build Space
Hmm.
empowers people that are either in the school or outside of school, or to work on your own ideas and really empower them. We have chosen to kind of focus our educational materials a little bit more narrower scope to kind of include Web3 and some of the cutting edge AI tools. But the idea is still
Hmm.
the same, to really expose people that might not be otherwise exposed to these technologies, and the opportunities that they unlock, and really getting this to as many students as we can, and then showing them the ropes of via bootcamp, working on projects, internships, and so on. Yeah.
Hmm. And I've seen you have guys Ethereum, you have Solana, you have the thing Clarity. I don't know what is Clarity. It's not familiar. What is
Yes.
that?
So Clarity is a smart contract programming language for Stacks protocol.
Oh, for the Bitcoin
Yes,
layer,
yes,
right?
Bitcoin read write. So Clarity is unique in a way that it is different from Solidity like programming languages. That first, Clarity allows you to interact with Bitcoin in some interesting ways.
Hmm.
It is a way for you to make smart contract programs and a plumbing for Bitcoin to move through. Basically, you can design applications with Clarity that can use wrapped Bitcoin and other forms of Bitcoin to interact with DeFi activities. So Clarity, as compared to Solidity, has some interesting properties that makes it more desirable, in my opinion. First, that Clarity is interpreted language, that it's not compiled, which is Solidity is a compiled language. So there's a Solidity program. It's compiled into bytecodes that AVM machine understands and computes. So there's a middle layer where your program is converted, to a lower level code that is then understood. But Clarity is it's interpreted language. So without a compiler, the blockchain can understand the code as is without compiling. So there is a kind of the hidden layer is
So what is the
abstracted
benefit?
away. Where there could be risk from compiling is eliminated through Clarity uses. Another one.
So what is the main benefit for the
Main benefit
Clarity?
is when it's compiled, there's a additional attack vector that can be introduced, right? So there's more counterparty risk with the compilers, so which you don't have.
I see.
And another one is that when it's built like that, and if there is exploit that is being exploited, which happened actually when one of the DeFi protocol, it was called Arcadico, launched. They had a liquidity pool which was exploited because of a error in the Clarity code. But when the developers and the core team recognized there was a bug, they were able to use and see the same code that hacker deployed to reverse and redirect 78% of the fund from the pool to safety. So in terms of like the transparency, so because it's interpreted and it's what you see is what you get, you don't have the hexabyte codes, you can see what contract was deployed and what function was used to exploit. It's quite human readables too, so it helps with the security of protocols in that way, with Clarity. In addition to that, Solidity is Turing complete. Clarity is Turing incomplete. Turing complete programming language allow for like pretty much any logic to be executed. You can program any logic what you can imagine. That includes having while loop, for loop, loops in your program. Sometimes these loops can be exploited to drain protocols. We've heard of re-entrancy attack, when a function, and before the function ends, it calls back to the same function again, and it's continuously going on a loop, thereby draining liquidity pools. Clarity, on the other side, does not allow for loops. To gain these features, it uses something called recursion to get the functionalities, but there's no such thing as loop, like for loop, while loop, so that you don't have that re-entrancy risk at all. In addition to that, Clarity also, because it's a Turing incomplete, and it doesn't allow for loops like the Solidity, it has what it is called a specific function called graph. Right, so when you look at the function, it has a fixed path how it's going to execute it based on what kind of an input. If the output or the end goal of that function call is other than the defined set of criteria, it has something called post conditions. If it is outside of the post condition, then the transaction gets reversed. It doesn't get executed. So many features like these allow you to explore some new design space where you can really develop it's like more transparent and more secure DeFi application that can interact directly with Bitcoin. And I'll add one last point in terms of the Clarity programming language you mentioned. So Clarity is a programming language of Stacks, and Stacks is one of the only cryptocurrency protocol that, by virtue of its consensus mechanism, generates yield for users that is other than the native token of the protocol itself. What I mean by that is when you're staking your Ethereum, your rewards is
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum, right? You're staking Solana, you're getting
Yeah.
Solana, or any other cryptocurrency, you're getting the same token back. But stacks consensus mechanism is proof of transfer. What that means is people that want to mine stacks, they have to spend Bitcoin. So people are bidding their Bitcoin for a chance to win stacks block rewards, and Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
that is bid on that particular block, once that block is found, so one random, a verifiable random function picks one of the miners that placed the bid for mining, and whoever gets picked gets to make the block for stacks. But the Bitcoin that is bid, like everybody made a bid for Bitcoin, right? Like for stacks with their Bitcoin. So
Mm-hmm.
that amount of Bitcoin is distributed proportionally to the people that stack their stacks. So people are taking Ethereum, they're earning Ethereum. It's like the wordplay, stack in stacks. People are stacking stacks, and stacking
Mm-hmm.
stacks yields you Bitcoin reward. Now, so far, Stacks has been on the mainnet for since 2021 January, and
Mm-hmm.
on average Bitcoin reward for stackers has been anywhere from 6-7% to 13-14% sometimes, but on average 7 to 10% APY Bitcoin for stacking stacks. So all these features like programming language, native Bitcoin yield, being able to interact with programmable Bitcoin and use them in DeFi applications are all unlocked with Clarity. And we started Builders Academy and our like first initial boot camps by teaching our students Clarity programming language and how to build on Bitcoin and Bitcoin layers using features like these.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm surprised even what I'm surprised really is like Bitcoin community because they were so against Ethereum and like they said like we don't want any programming, any execution layer. This is like we just want to be this, and now they embracing it, which is like kind of a turnaround. And I guess I don't know if it's good or bad, but it is surprising that they embraced, introducing more complexity just to have like a crypto gold from what originally was
Yeah.
envisioned, I would imagine. So it's exciting. And um, another question is, so this I presume that you more focusing in your boot camps on Clarity, uh, but you also offer Ethereum and
Yes.
Solana boot camps. And so do you have like a lot of teachers, or is it something that you yourself
No,
teach?
so we do have teachers that can teach Solidity as well as Rust. As we speak right now, as of last week, we wrapped up Solidity Bootcamp where we had 17 students IRL in Pokhara. So after
Mm-hmm.
the wrap up, now they're working on wrapping up their applications to complete bootcamp. And right now, we are
Mm-hmm.
also in discussion with the Solana Foundation to how to bring about Rust. We have not yet had Rust bootcamp, so we've had two Clarity and then
Mm-hmm.
two Solidity bootcamp. But we want to expand our offerings now because we have more students asking about, hey, okay, why are we only doing Clarity while there is other opportunities in Ethereum and there's Solana and then other ecosystem that they like to explore, and we're open to supporting
Mm-hmm.
broader ecosystem. And next one up is going to be Solana that we will expand to.
I see. And it's all in person. How many weeks does it
This
take
is
to,
these are
to, to
eight
do the back?
eight
Yep.
weeks programs. And normally,
In person?
normally first few weeks, this is about getting up to speed with Web3 terminology, like okay, just what's DeFi, NFTs, and just getting to know the language and like
Mm-hmm.
what the understanding what the ecosystem looks like. And rest of the 2 to 3 weeks. Then we kind of take them through for clarity and solidity. This is how our structure was. So we take them through the syntax of the programming language, deploy basic applications so that they can have like more in-depth experience, like interacting with smart contracts, tokens, NFTs, and different kinds of digital assets. And towards the last 2 to 3 weeks, we let them pick interesting ideas that they want to work on, and then we support them through the project, and then they will deliver some kind of a application or a research report based on their experience throughout the program.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with Ethereum based with Solidity. If you're familiar, Scaffold ETH, the Bill Guild.
Build a guild, yes.
They like, yeah. So like more with that area.
Nice.
I like the way they have kind of like challenges. That you can kind of work through different concepts. You can like do a staking app, a trading app, an AMM, and all sorts of other things to learn those little concepts. So is that something you guys do, or is it just
We do.
just purely education?
No, we do. Just to make sure I understand the question properly, can you reiterate the question before I respond?
Meaning, like, if you know the concept, when they have like a boilerplate and then you have different things to learn from, is that kind of the direction you are going, or is it just every time it's just a different like target for the bootcamp? Because I presume that just to expand a little bit more, there's demand, and then you come to fill that demand for the particular hires. The either auditors, they have different function, or DeFi builders for like AMM, or DeFi builders for building staking applications.
Got it. So a couple different approaches we're taking now. So in addition to purely technical smart contract education, majority of our curriculum also includes entrepreneurship aspect to it, and which is why we started kind of talking about Builders Academy as a exact inspiration from Build Space. Build Space is not just you work on some ideas. So how do you bring your ideas to market in a practical way? So we want to kind of instill that kind of a mental model as students are learning through our program. So with that said, we do want to have some kind of a structured approach for like each programming language, say, to understand the basics. So we have a clarity, basics. Okay, you go through these template examples, and then you have started understanding. And we want to have that for clarity, Solidity, and Solana. But in addition to that, we want to have a more like an incubator or like a founder's studio kind of a thing, where we encourage people to pick on specific ideas and then deliver on that, and then show them the way. Okay, how do you take this to market in a simple way, get feedback, improve upon that feedback, and then continue to improve, and then go on that lean startup kind of methodology. So
that's pretty cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I see you brought some of that like teaching from Bill Spear, more about like kind of like create people who, not specifically that they necessarily want to go and find a job. Maybe they want to do like an indie project and just use whatever resources and try to build like new projects in that ecosystem.
Yes. So that.
Right? And are you guys?
Just to add to that before we move on. So, and we've seen as we start to kind of onboard more developers and students to these programs, we saw there's a lot of like ecosystems already have these boilerplates examples and kind of the short curriculums to kind of onboard people at any levels. And we try to make a point of not reinventing the wheel and just using existing resources that are out there and then just plugging the hole. When after students have learned some basics and now they want to go on and build on their own unique ideas, then we can jump in and help them, get them in call with like the clarity experts, solidity experts, and then give them that extra push to really structurize their project, and then help them get things out the door. Like Bill Space says, get the fuck off of localhost until
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go. So I'm still doing the build space. I did season 4. But yeah, for season 5, I had different type of project. Basically, my project is this podcast. Just trying to see learn from other people in build space community or just builders, who do interesting stuff. And in week 4, they have basically came to this template is like iteration, and the iteration is like create, launch, get measure, get feedback, and repeat. So in this cycle, I'm curious, where are you at now? Do you guys adding more features, or
Yeah.
because like you said, just an expand, you said that you're stopped doing the build by season 5 just because you already know the direction you want to go. So I'm
Yes.
curious, what was that?
So initially, I signed up and I joined first couple calls with Build Space, because I love Build Space. I love the people that are putting this together, and it's always like good time, like listening about the latest thing that they're doing and so on. So that was all fun. The idea that we wanted to join was this, and this is what I wanted to working on, and this is what we are working on right now. And it's just that we're not actively following videos and the submissions and so on. So yeah, joined Build Space. Didn't follow through on the weekly updates and so on. However, the project that we wanted to build on and then we wanted to work on remains the same. It is the idea of Web3 wallets. Right? Web3 wallets. You have Chrome extension, like the extension-based wallets. You have mobile wallets. You have hardware wallets, right? We have all kinds of different wallets, and they let us interact within the Web3 ecosystem in different kind of ways as you please. But more often than not, majority of the wallets that I have interacted with and I've had experience with kind of take the role of a dashboard pretty much, right? So you have a passphrase, you log into your wallet, and then you hear, okay, boom, you have your total balance, send, receive, swap, and then here's the list of your assets, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm a new user. Somebody, you onboarded me to Web3. You got me set up wallet. You send me couple ETH, couple of stacks, couple Bitcoin. A few Bitcoin, whatever. Okay, now I'm onboarded to Web3 and I got some assets. Okay, what now, right? So mostly we've seen. But if you know about DeFi, if you know about NFT, if you know about marketplaces, then you can go to OpenSea or Magic Eden or other NFT marketplaces and then go and acquire these assets, or not if you don't like it. Or if you know about DeFi, if you know about swapping, you can swap your asset for different assets and different protocols, put them in a liquidity pool, do yield farming and so on and so on. But all these things you can do only if you know about them, right? And somebody has to kind of handheld you through these steps as you kind of get onboarded through the ecosystem. What we want to do is kind of help users do that.
Onboarding?
But onboarding, wallets are already onboarding people, but we want this to be more than onboarding. We want wallets to be actively interacting with users. So in addition to being just the dashboard, we'll give you an additional layer on top of that that is a little bit more intelligent, right? Basically, maybe we'll have an AI agent that once you logged into the app, it'll look at what assets you have. It'll look at the history of interaction if you had any. Or if you don't have any interaction based on your assets, then our agent will have already information about in this protocol, these are the yield farming pools. For this yield liquidity pool, you need this asset and this asset. this is the APY return, this is how long the cycles are, and so on, right? So let's say, for example, I got onboarded to a Web3 wallet and I have some stacks.
Mm-hmm.
And before, I mentioned to you that Stacks is the only protocol that if you stack your stacks can earn you Bitcoin every 2 weeks, 7 to 10% APY,
Mm-hmm.
right? But not everybody that gets onboarded and has stacks know about stacking. Or if you have a stacks and you have another token, maybe for example Alex, which is another Uniswap like DeFi protocol on stacks. So you can put stacks and Alex on a liquidity pool and has like 60% APY, for example, right? So
Mm-hmm.
based on your risk tolerance, based on your appetite for kind of the activities you can do, we can say, okay, welcome back, Ross. We see that you have stacks and some Bitcoin or whatever. We can put this in liquidity pool. You have an opportunity to earn this yield. Here's the risk profile. If you approve it, we'll go ahead and make that transaction, right? So it's a wallet
Mm-hmm.
that will recommend you profitable things you can do.
I see. So it's a basically a marriage between AI and wallet, like Web3 wallet, to
Yes.
enhance a user experience,
To
basically.
enhance user experience, and not just user experience, but to enhance the opportunity of a user to increase their wealth. Pretty much.
Mm,
Instead of having assets and just having these assets idly sit in your wallet, so we can have an agent that constantly looks for opportunities and recommend those to you. So right now, most of the wallet usage comes like how I go and use my wallet is I'll see something on the Twitter or like somewhere I see, okay, we have an NFT mint coming, they have a token generation for this DeFi protocol and so on. So, and then I go to wallet and do these things, right?
mhm.
But we want to be wallet that knows about all these things that are happening in all the protocols, at least like top 10 protocols, and then we can recommend people based on their assets, like what they can do.
That's cool. Is there something that is already online I can play with? Because I couldn't find anything
So,
beside the school.
yeah, not yet, not yet. So we
Okay.
have a couple developers putting the MVP together. I did have a small video clip of the demo of like agent connecting to the wallet and then looking at what
Mm-hmm.
assets that wallet have. And now
Okay.
we're at the point of fine tuning, prompting. When once we have that asset information, we want to make sure the response that we show to the user is makes sense in the context. So that's kind of some
Mm,
of the work that we are engaged in currently. We're hoping, so right now is July 11. In 2 weeks, towards the end of July, there is a Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville.
mm-hmm.
So we plan to release something before that.
That's cool.
Become
Do you
present.
have do you have a sign up list that I can like post somewhere?
No, not yet. So that should be coming shortly as well.
Okay, okay. So like if you look at the build space kind of like cycle, you are right now on the which step? Uh, create or launch or
Create,
I mean I get
create,
create, you're
launch,
still creating. Okay.
create. Yes.
Okay. I mean that sounds exciting. I don't think I've seen anything like that, like agent with the wallet. I because I've seen the latest buzz and there was like abstracted accounts. If you're familiar with like
Yes.
account abstraction in Ethereum ecosystem,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah. Sure.
I think is like really exciting because it's like it's really still hard to deal with like all the seed phrases, and it would be cool to
Yes.
have social recovery or some kind of like more more easy way to interact for normies because I still
Yes.
for me like I'm curious to use it, so for me it's easy, but I tried to put my mother like to teach and like my parents, and it's impossible. It's just like too much.
I'm glad. I'm glad you mentioned this feedback, and you made 2 points about one about account abstraction and one
Hmm.
about social recovery. Like the complication with the seed phrase. So, and earlier when we started talking about, we kind of took some time in elaborate manner to talk about Clarity and how it's different from Solidity, and
Mm-hmm.
how different unique applications are enabled by features that Clarity has. I want to kind of connect back to that point because Stacks already has something called account abstraction. Like
Mm.
for example, there is a couple teams that are working on this exact thing. So there's a hardware wallet. It's called Rider,
Mm-hmm.
RYDER. They have social recovery. And they have a hardware device where your seed phrase never leaves your device, and
Mm.
then you can. It's a 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5 kind of multi-sig kind of a. It's
Okay.
like a Apple AirTag, but it looks like an Apple Watch, and you can do social recovery and like account abstraction with the hardware wallet. So about the account abstraction, one point I want to make, like one of the problem that I saw with onboarding was, okay, people can use, like they can see new protocol, new wallet come up, but in order to interact with that protocol, you need to pay gas fee, right? So you need to have
Yeah.
the asset with you first. Like, that means either somebody have to send you some gas asset, or somebody has to be right next to you to be able to, or
Mm-hmm.
you have to acquire some way. So Stacks, and by the design of the Clarity, they have this thing called sponsored transaction. So if you're a DeFi application builder, you can have a dedicated wallet with assets on it, and whenever users interact with your contracts and like things that they want to do, the gas fee needed for this can be rerouted through sponsored contract transactions.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And there's a concept of like right now you have a wallet, and then you can generate many accounts under it, right? So the hardware wallet, the Rider hardware wallet team is also working on a different level of account abstraction that allows you to have a main account, checking account, savings account, and like you can
Mm.
have different kind of security features for different accounts and so on.
I see. I
So
see.
with the features like Clarity and like this account abstractions, sponsored transactions, and like transparency and the ability to like tap into the Bitcoin market cap,
Network.
which
Yeah.
is like 2 to 3 times more than what Ethereum market cap is overall. It really makes for an interesting proposition and a thesis to kind of go after, right? We see the boom
Mm-hmm.
of DeFi the past 7 6 7 years, and you made this observation before that now Bitcoin and maxis are kind of embracing the layers and like building these
Mm-hmm.
complicated meta protocols on top of Bitcoin, right? So it seems to me it's a natural evolution that all the product that kind of came on top of Ethereum past 5 6 7 years, and that had a product market fit. Say, for example, we can say stable coins is huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stablecoin market cap is maybe more than 120, 50 billion, $150 billion and growing.
Mm-hmm.
Other like stable swap protocols like Curve of the world, Aave of the world, right? So we know some products is thick than the
Yeah.
others. So a lot of that now has potential to be built on top of Bitcoin and then capture into that 1.5 trillion, 2 trillion market cap that Bitcoin is sitting on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
yeah,
So that's why you've been focusing more on Clarity on stacks than any other blockchain protocol, or like specifically like
particularly,
smart
yeah,
contract execution.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, in terms of the application
And
that it has.
I assume the wallet that you mentioned you're building specifically on stacks, right?
It'll be Bitcoin in the Stacks wallet first to start
Okay.
with, and then eventually we'll have a bridge or like the interaction with Ethereum and Solana.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean,
Because
yeah, go
just
ahead.
to make a point, because the dilemma is still the same for people that are onboarding to any ecosystem, right? Any
Yeah.
ecosystem have the similar DeFi protocol, NFT ecosystem, things you can do staking, on staking, yield. They are similar. So depending on your choice of assets and what assets you have in wallet, would be able to kind of unearth the things you can do in a profitable way in any
Yeah.
protocol.
I mean, I see the end goal of all these wallets is finally to be as easy and as everyday use like something like Cash App or Venmo, because that's
Yes.
like that's what I think that is lacking there. There's no wallet that can be seamlessly and to be like on and off ramp or like paying for stuff, like be
Right.
used in that way and mass adapted. Because again, there's still this hurdle of onboarding and hurdle with security and recovery and like losing your keys. And also I still do believe that like you don't want you still have to have some separation between your hot wallet and hard wallet, cold wallet,
Mhm.
just because of the mindset, because like that's your everyday spending and that's what your like bank account, that's your like savings. You want it to be behind the security and just tap it when you need it,
Yes.
or if you
Yes.
even if you do like some kind of business, like business account. It's kind of interesting the way they build it, like to have that checking and saving and business
Mhm.
separation. And again, it probably sounds more like UX uh, that they was trying to solve with like
Yeah.
some extra security layers just to make that more what would you say, um, more usable in the business world, I guess. Yeah. And a quick point I wanted to make, because I believe that you mentioned the sponsored transactions for the Stacks wallet. Because it's natively supported, right? So they like
Yes.
kind of building it from scratch.
Yes.
Because I know that a lot of people who offer account abstraction, that they offer that as well, the
Yeah.
sponsored transactions, that you
Mhm.
can, like, if you're onboarding your clients to use your protocol or whatever you're building, you can
Mhm.
sponsor their transactions as well.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. Because, for example, in Ethereum they have ENS, so you can claim your name, right? So Ethereum naming system,
Mm-hmm.
as well as .eth. In Stacks, it has Stacks has actually a longest running decentralized naming system. I'm not sure if you know. So
What does that mean?
it's a BNS. It's if you've seen .btc around, that's the naming system. But before .bns, it used to be .id. So Bitcoin, in 2012, 2013, they had a name coin.
Oh.
Namecoin was actually launched and worked on at that time. In 2012-13, Namecoin, how people are registering ROS.id, Binaya.id,
Hmm.
right? So those are the name coins registered to Bitcoin. At some point, they had 50% of the all Bitcoin transactions per block were Namecoin registrations, right? So the people that worked on the name coin are the same people that built stacks. Actually, it used
Hmm.
to be called block stacks, and then they kind of modified the block name coin idea into BNS. It's a Bitcoin naming system or block stack naming system. It gives you extension .btc. And yeah, I forgot kind of where I was going with this. Oh yeah, so when you register, so in order to secure your name, you have to pay the gas fee, right? So the registration is
Mm-hmm.
like two
Yeah.
stacks. These gas fees are burnt to the burn address. But okay, I come in, I want to secure my name, but I don't have the two stacks to like I be able to claim these transactions. So that's where the idea of sponsored transactions kind of
Mm-hmm.
came to help with use cases like that. And currently there is some BNS working groups that are working to make this sponsored transaction easy for developers to use and integrate in that in their applications. And we plan to use these services as well,
That's cool.
so that we're minimizing or reducing the friction of kind of getting people on board with the system.
Mm-hmm. So I personally never tried Stacks. I've heard of it and I like read about it, but like if I wanted to try it, like what current wallet would you recommend me? Like the easiest to kind of try and board and like play around with. Like what are you using
So
personally right now?
personally, I prefer a mobile wallet. So it's Xverse. It's
Experts.
yes, Xverse. There's actually two major wallets that are kind of integrated most applications in stacks. They're Xverse and Ledger. They both have extension, like the browser extension as well. I think Ledger has a mobile app coming very soon. I think like they're announcing in a couple weeks or a couple months. And Xverse has a mobile wallet that is quite advanced. Quite advanced, I would say. You'll be able to stack your stacks. You'll be able to interact with DeFi protocols, and most DeFi protocols have kind of almost automated. Like connection, like people, they have a standard. If applications adopt to it, it will prompt to connect to Xverse and Ledger and a few other wallets. So it is quite universal in terms of like connectivity. So if I were to just choose number one, I think for right now, until Ledger has their mobile version, I think Xverse is quite handy, secure. It is
And leather is like a skin leather type of the name, or it's ledger?
no, Ledger. Yeah, skin leather.
Oh, leather. Okay. Because I thought it was maybe the same company as Ledger Nano, the hardware wallet. Yeah.
Yes, not Ledger.
Okay.
But okay, just to make a comment about Ledger too, stacks and other stacks related tokens like SIP10 tokens, similar to ERC20, ERC721. Stacks has SIP10, SIP9. SIP9 is NFTs. SIP10 is fungible tokens, and Ledger has support for NFTs and FTs for stacks protocol.
I see. Okay. It's interesting. I'm curious about like talking about the future, because that's what I was thinking about for quite some time. Is there's obviously always been tension between Bitcoin and the Ethereum community, but now it seems like Stacks and Bitcoin, they embracing a lot of research done by Ethereum community, Ethereum Foundation. And what I try to see is like in the future, do you think there would be some kind of like cross, like not communication, but like security inheritance? Because like I don't know why they fighting, because it like why wouldn't it be logical for them to in the future to kind of like inherit security from each other, basically committing history in like kind of abstracted way to each other chains, just to set it in stone and have more native cross communication between chains? Because right now I don't see it anywhere. Like it's very, I don't know if it's just like they both don't like each other or there is no like way to engineer that.
Yeah.
What do you think from your like kind of like Stacks and Bitcoin view from inside?
Yeah. I think that's an excellent question. We touched on this a little bit, like how you also made a point about now there is more complex protocols or meta protocols being attempted to be developed on top of Bitcoin and like interact with Bitcoin in some ways, right? Stacks has its own kind of way how it interacts with Bitcoin and how it has a novel consensus mechanism. It's called the proof of transfer. There's other. Have you heard of Babylon chain?
No, that's the first time. No.
Yeah, so Babylon chain is like a Bitcoin staking protocol, pretty much. So Babylon chain connects all the proof of stake chains to Bitcoin through like Bitcoin staking. So you're able to stake Bitcoin and then on the other side have a EVM compatible chain that can derive security of that chain by the staked Bitcoin, so to speak. So that's just one example to kind of directly address like why the competition between the two camp and like where I see it going. I think everybody wants their chain to be like the number one chain. It's kind of like a tribal, right? In some ways.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin is like the first of the kind of first tribe of cryptocurrencies, so they've been around the longest. So I think the maxi Bitcoin maxi camp, to a certain extent, like feel that, oh, we're the main chain. Anything outside of this main chain is like a scam in some ways,
Yeah.
right? And that it is kind of the net negative for the ecosystem. But this ecosystem is broad, and there's people outside of the main Bitcoin camp. They see that, okay, Bitcoin has this capital, but they recognize that this capital is not being actively and like efficiently used and reused, similar to how assets on Ethereum are able to be staked, restaked, like yield farming and all of that. So that kind of a success for like the stable coin, other stable swap protocols, and like the Aave and Curbs of the world. So we've seen that people want to interact with these protocols,
Mm-hmm.
but the security assumptions for Ethereum, for example, they moved from proof of work to proof of stake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now there's also sometimes discussions about redefining tokenomics. They start after proof of stake. They started burning Ethereum tokens as a part of the consensus. So it's kind of it's a software. It's changing. It makes sense to be able to be adjust to the economic realities of the ecosystem. But
Mm-hmm.
to some, that can be like undesirable. For example, people that are hardcore Bitcoin or Bitcoiners, they like the fact that it's difficult for Bitcoin to change at the consensus level, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's people that have seen the success on the alt ecosystem and want to replicate similar activities on top of Bitcoin. So now, from the Bitcoiners ecosystem, there's a different camp that have a different risk profile. For example, personally myself, I don't have all of my Bitcoin on the Ledger or the hardware wallet. I have some in hot wallets like Xverse or Lether. And then I
Mm-hmm.
also don't mind swapping and wrapping my Bitcoin and getting wrapped BTC or SBTC in the near future with the Stacks protocol upgrade. And then I don't mind using my assets in yield farming pools, having digital artifacts like inscriptions or NFTs. So I have like some person in hot wallet, some on cold wallet, right? So because there's a market demand, market's going to kind of push. We saw with the runes and ordinals how the fee markets were very high with Bitcoin, right? Even
Mm-hmm.
though NFT, DeFi like activities are happening on Bitcoin, because of the fee pressure, not everybody is going to be able to interact at the Bitcoin base layer. You'll need a
Yeah.
couple layers, right? So that's where Stacks comes in, Rootstock and other Bitcoin layers comes in, because we've seen that and learned from the Ethereum ecosystem. When the demand is high, gas fees are high, a lot of people can't use it, so it becomes unusable, right? So we
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
when the adoption comes, then we need to be doing activities in different layers, and that's kind of what I see the future moving forward. Ethereum is innovating with like zero knowledge, getting like the roll-ups, independent roll-ups that you can validate
Mm-hmm.
independently and so on. I see the same thing coming directly on top of Bitcoin through like whether be it ordinal inscription or there's people that are working on opcat, opctv and other changes to the Bitcoin opcodes. So it'll take some time to kind of achieve these at the protocol level, but there has been kind of workaround to test these things and before we even get it in the base layer. So I'm very excited that Bitcoin and like a broader Bitcoin ecosystem being more open to experimentation and like adopting success stories from Bitcoin, from Ethereum, and then
Mm-hmm.
um, kind of expecting the problem beforehand and then kind of building for these issues to come, so that it's so that the problem of that unusability does not exist, right? So right now
Mm-hmm.
people are building on Stacks and Rootstock are expecting high fee markets at the Bitcoin base layer. When that fee pressure comes to the Bitcoin, now they're ready to use, like we have second layer, third layer protocol for you to
Mm-hmm.
use. may have the similar experiences.
I see. Okay. So what's your next steps? Like right now, you have your school and you have your wallet project.
Yeah.
Are you still doing the school, or are you focusing more on the wallet and getting that to launch for the
Yeah,
next 2
we're
weeks?
gonna focus. We're gonna focus on launching at least a simple version of the wallet before the Bitcoin conference. So I'll be attending the conference, so I want to be able to showcase this to folks from around the ecosystem. In addition to bootcamp and internal project like this, we're also quite actively engaged in driving these Web3 and AI conversations at the policy level in Nepal. Recently, Ministry of IT, they released like the concept paper for AI, and we didn't see any conversation about digital assets and like the things that Web3 can bring in, and how Web3 can be complementary to AI in some ways, in more ways than some. So we are kind of injecting ourselves into these open working groups where people are discussing about uh, what kind of policies can be implemented at the national level, because where we are operating currently, although we aim to expand to other countries and communities eventually, like right now, I think it's more impactful that we focus in Nepal, where we already have the ground base, and then there is kind of conversations being happening about like what kind of changes are necessary, and we want to be able to focus there and make an impact in terms of pushing for favorable digital assets and AI policies. And we want to continue to expand our curriculum access to many schools. So right now we're only collaborating with universities, but we want to go like the lower level educational entities, like a high school or even lower than the high school, because one thing we noticed was Nepal has only like less than 100,000 like the remote workers, but for having small number of remote workers, they bring in more revenue into the country, more than the tourism, which is considered to be the highest kind of earning sector, right? So our goal with our work, we want to promote getting these 100,000 remote workers from into like 200,000, 500,000 million people. And we cannot do that by only teaching college students and people that are graduating. We need to start like the earlier grade levels,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to push conversations and then bring this education curriculum to as broader student mass as possible.
I see. That's
In
cool.
addition to that, one of the milestones that we're looking forward to before the end of the year is organizing a major AI Web3 conference in Nepal. We have already started kind of moving needles along those directions.
Mm-hmm.
This will probably be around November of this year, and we want this to be one of the major conferences in Kathmandu. We will invite business leaders, relevant political leaders, as well as educational entities together, and then explore. We want to invite people from around the ecosystem from around the world, and then bring them to Nepal, and then have them share experience. Okay, how this technology can be leveraged by a nation state like Nepal, and then
Mm-hmm.
get to that next level. So that's kind of the next big focus for us.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
in
a lot.
addition to the one in-house project and continuous boot camps.
Okay, so this is like so is it like you have like a company that has like multiple like entities, or how do you run this, all of that
We
at the
have
same time?
we have an entity that is registered in Wyoming that later can be spin up as a DAO, which we
Mm,
plan to do. So, and we also, because we are operating in Nepal, we have also a registered nonprofit entity. Sorry to take it back. It's not nonprofit. It's a private limited entity registered in Nepal that allows us to interact and do activities in Nepal.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of how we operate. And so entity registered here, it's an emerging frontier technology. It is more mm, educational AI, IT consulting kind of company.
Hmm.
And we're registered as Builders Academy in Nepal, which is more education focused entity.
I see.
And then
I
it
see.
also allows us to expand educational outreach programs in Nepal. So that will allow us to organize events, conferences, workshops, and interact with entities in Nepal.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yes,
And all of this like spun up from Bill Space season 4. Is that correct assumption?
that's right. That's right.
Wow.
All of it. All of it. We've been at this
Thank you,
quite.
Farza.
Thank you, Farza. Yeah, I've met with Farza a few times and shared this in person. I've had conversations with Amit as well, and they were super supportive and excited that we're doing that. I'm sure they'll be glad to know that we're still at it, we're still pushing, and we're still continuing to do the work and bring access, education, and opportunities to the masses.
Great, great. Any links or any accounts you want to plug in by the end? We can wrap it up.
Yes. Thank you, Ross, for this opportunity to talk about these ideas and share our work. Um, you can find us at our website is buildersacademy.ai.
Hmm.
That's where most of our updates will be. Um, I'm on Twitter. It's binay.btc. So you can follow me on Twitter, and then I'll mostly post the latest updates on my Twitter profile as well. I'll be sharing Builders Academy Twitter profile and updates from that profile as well through my profile also. So yeah, those are like the good contacts. You can find us and ask us questions, or let us know how we can help you or how you can help us, and we'll be happy to chat further and then collaborate in any way it makes sense to the parties involved.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, yeah, I'll be looking forward to that new wallet application. I'm quite
Yes,
curious
sir.
about to see what it looks like. Sounds
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite protocol? I know you said you hadn't. Yeah,
Ethereum.
heard
Yeah,
Ethereum. Okay.
yeah.
What's your
That's
favorite
yeah. Go ahead.
DeFi app? What's your favorite DeFi application you're mostly interacting with?
DeFi application. Well, lately, I mean, the most I've interacted probably was like Uniswap, because it's like from the early days
Mhm.
across all of that. That was Uniswap. Yeah, just like swapping. I mean, I tried many others, but yeah, that's like the most, just because
Okay.
it's all there is right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. I'm glad talking to you. So Stacks has a similar apps, like stable swaps, like Uniswap, and I think you'll like it. There's different unique applications that I shared some. How Stacks yields asset that's different from its own protocol. I think that's the most exciting
Hmm.
thing that Stacks has going. Like the proof of transfer is the real innovation, and it has not yet been quite utilized to the extent that it can be, and we
Hmm.
need to leverage these features and then make it more common for people that use our applications.
Yeah, I need to look. I need to look at the Clarity code, because I don't think I've ever seen it before. Like I'm more the
Yes.
most familiar personally is like Solidity, and
Yeah.
I just like because it's so similar to JavaScript, and
Yes.
very easy to
Yeah. Have
comprehend.
you heard? Have you heard of a programming language called Lisp?
Lisp, yeah, yeah. All OG
So
is the
yeah.
program, right?
Yes. So Clarity is designed directly based off of Lisp. So the
Oh, okay.
syntax, functional programming concepts, it's exactly like Lisp. Um, it is designed off of Lisp, and it is made better for blockchain programming. With Clarity. So explore it, and then I'm around, so I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I'll also share with you some of the applications that I find interesting, and
Oh, yeah.
have at it, and then I'll send you some stacks and so on to pay for gas and so on until we have a sponsor transaction within our wallets.
That'd
But
be great.
I'll be looking forward to feedback on how you think, because I've been in stacks for so long and I don't know quite a lot of Ethereum. And you said you've been in a long time in Ethereum, you don't know quite a lot in stacks. So I wanna like see what that experience and like the feedback would be like for somebody that's been on the Ethereum and does not know like what exists on the other side, right? A lot of the times, like we said earlier too, this is a tribal thing,
Yeah.
and so sometimes cross tribing can be good. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
we're going to be able to do that.
I'm looking forward. Okay, I'm looking forward to to seeing your app and more updates. So yeah,
Yes.
thank you for joining. It was great. I finally get someone from like more Web3 world.
Yes.
Usually it's like people doing AI stuff.
Yeah.
So now it's a well, in your case, it's a joining venture of AI and Web3.
Yes,
So yeah,
sir.
I'm looking forward. Thank you again for being my guest, and I'm gonna link all his links down below. So thank you guys for watching AI Unscripted if you watched it until the very end, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Ciao.